MLS Week 4 is here, but Week 3 was pretty freaking good. We had a banger by Evander. We had a banger by Insigne. A hat trick by Yakamakis there in Atlanta. And then CF Montreal go on the road and beat Inter Miami at home. Yes, without Messi, but still getting that dub away in Miami. That's very good for Montreal. Who knew that they were going to be one of the best teams in the league so far? Minnesota United doing so well so far, and the Portland Timbers are killing it also. But let's go ahead, jump into week 4, and we start off with Chicago Fire versus Montreal. Chicago Fire, we all expected them to do a lot better than what they have been. 2 losses in their last 2 matches, where CF Montreal are 2 wins in their last 2 matches. At home though, Chicago has only lost. They've only played 1 match and they lost that match. Montreal away, 2 wins and a draw. According to the statistics, the probability is 92% chance that Montreal win this match, but I have to go against that. I think we're going to start to see Chicago get in rhythm and everything. I don't think Chicago wins, but I think this ends in a 1-1 draw there at Soldier Field. That takes us to DC United versus Inter Miami. Currently, DC United have drawn their last 2 matches. Inter Miami have drawn and lost in their last 2 matches. Yes, they did tie Nashville 2-2, and then they lost to Montreal at home. Currently, DC United, they have won their only game at home. Inter Miami have only drawn their game away. In this match, statistically, it's saying the win probability goes to DC United at 59%. But here's another one. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that Miami come into Audi Field. I don't think they get 3 points, but they do walk away with 1 point. And I think that this match ends in a 2-2 draw there at Audi Field. Next up, we have Seattle Sounders versus Colorado Rapid. Seattle, not doing very well, but at the same time, they are missing a lot of key players due to injury. Colorado Rapid, very young, very new. For every aspect of the team, there's a lot of new faces, new formation with the new coach. But Seattle currently a loss and a draw in their last 2 matches. Colorado, a win and a draw in their last 2 matches. They did beat Real Salt Lake 2-1 on the road. And currently, they are 1 win and 1 loss on the road, where Seattle have only drawn at home in their 1 match. This one was a tough one for me, and yes, we're starting out with a bunch of draws, but not on this one. I think that Seattle go into Lumen Field at home, even though they're down injuries, with Colorado struggling the way that they are, even though they looked okay against Real Salt Lake. I think that Seattle win this match 2-1 over the Rapids. So that takes us to a match that I think is going to be the best match of the weekend. And a lot of you voted for this match in the community tab to watch this weekend. That's Columbus Crew versus the Red Bulls. Currently, Crew are a win and a draw in their last 2 matches. Red Bulls are 2 wins in their last 2 matches. Currently, the Red Bulls are 1 win and a draw away, where Columbus Crew are 2-0-0 at home there at lower.com field. The statistics say 43% chance that this match ends in a draw, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that the Red Bulls, yes, they scored 2 against Dallas. I think that they still need to find their way, and I'm all aboard for the Red Bulls to do well this season. I'm excited to see Forsberg play for them. Tolkien's getting back in. Lewis Morgan's getting back in the lineup. So I think that there's a lot of positive things to look at for the Red Bulls. But Columbus are just good at lower.com field. They've been having too many 1-goal wins or winning late or drawing late. And I think that changes here, though. I think that Columbus go into lower.com field at home and win this match 2-0 over the Red Bulls. So, speaking of New York, we go to New York City. We have NYCFC versus Toronto FC. What's going on, NYCFC? You can't win. You can't win at all. Currently, last two games they've lost. Toronto, though, the last two matches they have won. Toronto currently 1 win, 1 draw away. NYCFC have only played 1 match at home, and they lost, which was to the Portland Timbers in last week's matchup. Toronto looked like a totally different team than what they did last season. They're in the top 5 in my power ranking. The probability is in their favor at like 70%. I think they go on the road here at Yankee Stadium and win 1-0 over NYCFC. So we head on down to Texas to Austin FC versus Philadelphia Union. Austin currently, their last 2 matches they have drawn. Philadelphia have lost and drawn in their last 2 games. That loss being a 6-0 loss to Pachuca. What? Why? Why Philadelphia? Are Pachuca that good in Liga MX? I know that they had to travel there, and they should have been well rested because their game got canceled over the weekend. Postponed, not canceled, postponed. What happened there? I almost wanted to change my prediction because after seeing that I think that Austin could win this, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick with my original prediction because they should have a chip on their shoulder after that kind of loss. They made MLS look a little bad on that one. Philadelphia, though, have only drawn away so far this season. Austin have drawn 1 and lost 1 there at home. Again, the probability is in favor of the Union, and I have to go with that probability. I think that the Philadelphia Union win this on the road 3-2 over Austin FC. Staying there in Texas, we have FC Dallas versus the Vancouver Whitecaps. Currently, Dallas are on a 2-match losing streak, where Vancouver are 1 win and a draw in their last 2 matches. Vancouver have won their only away match, where DC are 1 win and a draw there at home at Toyota Stadium. Right now, it is favored for Vancouver to win, but I'm going to go against that. I think that Dallas, people are coming back from injury. They're at home. I think that they get the job done here, and I think they win this match 2-1 over Vancouver. We got Houston Dynamo versus Portland Timbers there. Portland are looking really good this season. Portland, I really like what Portland's doing. A win and a draw in their last 2 matches. Houston, though, a draw and a loss in their last 2 matches, which both were against Columbus Crew. 1 home, 1 away. They did draw that home match, lost away. Currently, the Dynamo have only drawn and lost there at home in the MLS regular season, with Portland Timbers winning their 1 match away. This one was a tough one for me. I think that Houston's struggling, but I think that the Portland Timbers go in there and walk away with a point, and I think this match ends in a 1-1 draw there in Houston. Now, next up, we have Minnesota United versus LAFC. Currently, Minnesota are a win and a draw in their last 2 matches. LAFC a draw and a loss in their last 2 matches. LA have not won on the road. Minnesota have not won at home, but they have drawn there in their single match at home. The statistics are saying because of the first couple games, it goes to Minnesota. I don't know. I don't think that there's enough there. Yes, they looked phenomenal last week. Pookie almost had the hat trick. LAFC, they have struggled in the last few matches, but I think that they go into Minnesota. And yes, here's another draw. I think that this match ends in a draw 1-1. Now we have Nashville versus Charlotte. Nashville currently 2 draws in their last 2 matches. Charlotte a loss and a draw in their last 2 matches. Charlotte have not won on the road. They have drawn and lost. Nashville, they have only drawn there at home at Geodis Park, which to me is not normal, but with how the things are going with the injury to Mukhtar, the injury to Surridge, that has hurt them. And with the probability is this match is going to end in a draw, and I have to go with that probability. Yes, it's only a 39%, but I think that it is. Hopefully this is my last pick for a draw, but they're just not doing well at Geodis Park. Charlotte are up and down, in this first few games of the season, but I think that they go and get the point, and I think that this match, though, ends in a 2-2 draw at Geodis Park. Moving on, we have Sporting Kansas City versus San Jose Earthquake. Sporting Kansas City, 2 draws in their last 2 matches. San Jose, 2 losses in their last 2 matches. San Jose are not looking good. They got to do something. I really want them to make the playoffs. I cheer for them to make the playoffs. As of right now, I don't think that that's going to happen. Sporting, on the other hand, they have drawn a whole bunch. I think that they've drawn every single one of their matches. They have drawn their one at home. San Jose has lost on the road. I have to go with Sporting Kansas City with this one. San Jose just don't look good, and I have to say with Sporting Kansas City being at home, you got to give them a little bit of an advantage, and I say that they win this match 1-0 over the Earthquakes. Now, another match that I'm looking forward to this weekend, that is LA Galaxy versus St. Louis City. LA have won 1 and drawn 1 in their last 2 matches, and the same thing goes for St. Louis, 1-1 and drawn 1 there in their last 2 matches. St. Louis have only drawn on the road in 1 match. LA Galaxy have only drawn in their 1 home match. This one was tough for me. I think that we're going to see 5 goals in this match. And I hate to say it, but I think that the Galaxy win this match 3-2 over St. Louis City. For our first match on Sunday, we have the Revs versus FC Cincinnati. The Revs currently a loss and a win in their last 2 matches. Cincinnati a draw and a loss in their last 2 matches. Yes, one of the Revs' wins were against in the Champions Cup. FC Cincinnati, their 1 loss is in the Champions Cup. This one is hard for me because I don't think that the Revs are doing that great this season. They seem to be struggling. They went on the road to Atlanta, lost 4-1. Is that type of Revs team going to continue here in MLS, or is that just because they had that earlier game that, with the Champions Cup? But Cincinnati also have the Champions Cup going on, and they drew with DC United at home, though, TQL Stadium. Cincinnati have only played 1 game on the road, and they did win that match, where the Revs have only had 1 match at home, and they lost it. I think, though, that Cincinnati go on the road here, and they do beat the Revs. I just don't see enough from the Revs to say that they get a win over Cincinnati or even a draw against Cincinnati. So I have to go 2-1 FC Cincinnati. Last but not least, we have Atlanta United versus Orlando City. Currently, Atlanta, in their first 2 matches of the season, they had a loss and a draw. Orlando City, their last 2 matches, they did lose. They've lost their only road match, which was against Miami and losing 5-0 on the road, where Atlanta have won their 1 home match, and that was last weekend against the Revs, beating them 4-1. Orlando is struggling. We really thought, I think me and a lot of other people around the league thought that Orlando would be competing for the Supporter Shield. They've had this, they've been very hyped up, and they have kind of just crapped the bed so far, and nowhere near expectation that everyone had for them. Atlanta's looking pretty good with the win over the Revs. Yes, they played on the road against Columbus in match day 1, and it was only a 1-0 loss for Atlanta. They're back at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I think they're going to build off of the Revs win. I think that they win this match 3-1 over Orlando City. So that is it for the video. Please give it a thumbs up. Tell me down below what your thoughts are. Tell me your predictions. Do you think that some of my predictions were crazy? Do you agree with a lot of them? Let me know, and we will see you for the live stream on Saturday.